Hey guys, Desolator Magic here. It's already time for more spoilers. You know why it's already time for more spoilers? Because I was dumb enough to look for them on Wizards' website. You know, where they have a page that's updated constantly with all of the known spoilers released so far. Except for, you know, these 21 cards. Why do I even go to that dumpster fire of a site? Why didn't I just go to mythicspoiler.com in the first place? So even though I'd rather be doing absolutely anything else right now, let's take a look at these spoilers. First, Arena Rector. Boy, don't say that one too quickly. Good job, Wizards. This is a 1/2 for 4. When it dies, you may exile it. If you do, search your library for a Planeswalker card, put it directly onto the battlefield. What the hell? Then shuffle your library. You know what? Don't shuffle your library because your opponent just forfeited. Don't play this card. I can't wait for this to be banned in Commander. Ugin, Nicol Bolas, I mean, name anything. Karn, straight onto the damn battlefield for basically 4 mana. What the hell were they thinking? This is probably the worst free casting plus bonus fetch spell I've ever seen in the entire history of the game. This makes show and tell look fair. And just to drive the point home that this is the worst card they've ever designed, they put whatever the hell that is on the card. I don't know what kind of gender ambiguous, just weird looking type of thing that is, but damn. Well, that ruined the set and every format that card is legal in. Next up, we got Boldwyr Intimidator. Or Boldwyr, who knows? They don't release pronunciation keys. It's a 5/5 for 7, so you're never going to get this out in a reasonable game ever. Cowards can't block warriors. What? What about contraptions? Can they block? What if it has rodeo? So you pay 1, target creature becomes a coward until end of turn. Once again, traditionally a blue ability and very occasionally a red ability. Apparently that's a theme with this set. And if you pay 3, target creature becomes a warrior until end of turn. Oh boy. It costs too much. It's not a good card. Next up, Chain Lightning. That's right, Chain Lightning is back. It deals 3 damage to any target. Then that player or that permanent's controller may pay 2 red, which they will never do because they're not playing red. If the player does, they may copy this spell and may choose a new target for that copy. So it's a sorcery speed lightning bolt where they get to hit you back for 3. I guess you would just sideboard it out if they can generate red. Otherwise, yay, it's a cheap 3 damage. I don't know. This is just odd. I like the card Roast better. Next up, whatever the hell this says, I guess it's generous sponsor, maybe. And maybe when it enters the battlefield support too. But maybe because it's not in English. Thanks for looking so multicultural, Wizards. Don't pat yourselves on the back too hard. Anyway, whenever you put 1 or more counters on a creature you don't control, draw a card. What? So cast this overpowered 1/4 for 3 and draw 2 cards. That is ridiculous. What the hell were they thinking? I really hope that was mistranslated. Next up, Greater Good. This might be one of those expensive reprints, but I'm not looking these up. I want to go to bed. So it's an enchantment, it's a 4 cost, is green, and then it has a recurring ability, I guess you would say. Sacrifice a creature, so that's the cost, and the effect is draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, then discard 3 cards. Wow, this is the worst version of Life's Legacy I've ever seen. The whole discard 3 cards thing, that's just, this takes this from almost good to not good at all. If you blew up a 7/7 with this that you probably could have used to hit them, what would you possibly be hoping for that would be better? I mean, it's just, this is so situational. Yes, it would work under some circumstances, but that artwork's creeping me out, so I'm going to the next fucking card. Impulse. It costs 2, it's an instant. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom in any order. Holy crap, that's an overpowered Anticipate. Wonderful. I love cards like this. Just lets people get away with degenerate 4/4 combos. Just, I love stuff that enables people to do just aggravating, broken stuff. Next up, Krav the Unredeemed. He's a 3/3 for 4 legendary creature demon. Partner with Resna the Redeemer. I'm not sure they actually leaked that card. I'll have to check. But you can pay 1 black and sacrifice X creatures. Target player draws X cards and gains X life. And then put X/1/1 counters on Krav. Or Krav, who knows? Call him whatever you want. You could call him Kevin, I don't care. Well, it's pretty damn good if you steal their creatures. Otherwise, I don't know. That's actually probably what Resna does. Oh, look, it is Regna. I didn't think they leaked this one. Alright, so we got Regna the Redeemer, 4/4 for 6. Kind of an odd couple there. Partner with Krav, obviously. Flying at the beginning of each end step. If your team gained life this turn, create 2 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. And then I guess he could sack them, but that's not the first choice I would make. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not amazing. I think it's more like he triggers her instead of she triggers him. You know what? After all these cards, I'm triggered. Hey, Regna's back. Regna's sanctioned. For each player, choose friend or foe. So in other words, the people you're fighting against are foes, and the people on your team are friend. You don't actually choose anything. That's stupid to even make it look like a choice. Each friend puts a 1/1 counter on each creature they control. Holy shit, that's insane. And each foe chooses 1 untapped creature they control, then taps the rest. Okay, so you put this down for 4 and win the game. Wonderful. No wonder they didn't put any of these cards in the damn card gallery or card library, whatever the hell they call that page. They're ashamed of these cards. These are so overpowered. Next up, Saltwater Stalwart. Try and say that 3 times fast. It's a 2/4 for 4, and whenever it deals combat damage to an opponent, target player draws a card. So you can give a card to yourself or an ally. That is amazing. This card is amazing. But it's like fair though. I mean, you still have to successfully hit them. It's only a 2/4 and it does cost 4. I mean, this is like hyper powerful, amazing, great card. Works great with any kind of boost equipment, you know, make it flying, make it unblockable, whatever. But it's still fair. It's not like, whoa, this came out and the game is ruined. This comes out and you still feel like you could do something about it, unlike some of these other cards which are just completely out of control. Next up, Seedborn Muse, cost 5, it's a 2/4, untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. Okay, that has to be a reprint. I know I've heard of that before. This is annoying when you do like tap for mana stuff, Karametra's Acolyte, that other stupid overpowered card that lets everybody tap for mana, or the other one that does that. It's like really, really weird vigilance, except it works for like activated abilities too, which is kind of nice. I still think like 5 mana though, that's a little much, but I don't know. There's very specific decks I would run something like this. Next up, Sickle Dancer. She just came right out of a Marvel movie. Whenever it attacks, if your team controls another warrior, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Just controls, doesn't have to swing. I kind of like that. It's just a nice little subtle synergy boost. It's not overwhelming, but it's not, you know, negligible. Next up, Sower of Temptation. It's a 2/2 for 4 fairy wizard. You always got to watch out for them because they're underpowered in combat and hyper overpowered in abilities. So let's see what this one does. When it enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature for as long as it remains on the battlefield. So it's that kind of fairy wizard. Oh man, there was that one with Bestow that would steal whatever you bestowed it on, and it cost like 7, but it was so good. And that card was like $8, so yeah, I like this. The fact that this costs 4 is nuts, and unlike Kefnets, you don't have to like lose all your mana the next turn. So yeah, hyper powerful card here. Next up, Swords to Plowshares for about the 100th time. You're never gonna see this in the double digits ever again. It exiles something at instant speed, but then its controller gains life equal to its power. But if that creature was truly important, it doesn't really matter. That's why I think this isn't going to be like amazingly good in draft, unless people are very, very careful about how they use it. You cannot just automatically write off the whole life gain thing, okay? It's going to make your opponent harder to kill. But if you got rid of a Galto with this, which you won't because none of this is standard, okay, now you're being smart with it. If you got rid of a 2/2 because you didn't have a blocker, you're an idiot. And next up, the crowd goes wild because these cards are bullshit. Do you think that fat ass that's taken up like 4 seats had to pay for 4 tickets? And also, it's a 1+X sorcery assist. Ooh, I was hoping they would do an assist X spell. Let's see what this does. Support X. Damn, that is straight up bonkers. Now the problem is, it's X targets. You can't drop 2 counters on the same target. So support was never exactly my favorite mechanic. But each creature with a 1/1 counter on it gains trample until end of turn. So this isn't exactly strength of the Tajuru, but it's pretty good. I do kind of like that it's X, but at a certain point there's no need to put more into it, unlike just open-ended X spells that are just like, oh look, I put 30 counters on it, deal with it. Next up, Thrasher Brute. He's got a big old sparkly whip. And honestly, he's looking fab as hell with it. This entire set apparently takes place in a gay nightclub in Miami in the 80s. So Thrasher Brute is a 4/3 for 4, and whenever it or another warrior enters the battlefield under your team's control, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Ooh, that's powerful. Next up, holy crap, they reprinted True Name Nemesis. It's double blue plus a generic and a 3/1. As it enters the battlefield, choose a player. True Name Nemesis has protection from the chosen player. Oh, they brought protection back. Even though they said themselves it's confusing as hell to players and they hate it and it was a mistake. Which, by the way, they said probably about 1 day after they finished this set, because they finished this set in 2016. So this creature cannot be blocked by, targeted by, dealt damage by, or enchanted by anything controlled by that player. That extends to spells and permanents. This thing is insane. I mean, you start putting like any kind of equipment on this and it's gonna get really real really quick. The card's like 25 to 30 bucks, by the way. Next up, Veteran Explorer, 1/1 for 1, and when it dies, each player, including your opponents, may search their library for up to 2 basic land cards and put them onto the battlefield. Then each player who searched their library this way shuffles it. Well, at least they stuck with the theme of shooting yourself in the foot by not knowing anything about your opponent or their deck, but letting them accelerate with card draw, scry, land fetch. I mean, what else do we have now? Like, it's just stupid. It's just so stupid. You'd either have to have better synergy than they do, more expensive cards than they do, or just have a deck that's set up better than theirs, which, I mean, this is like draft, so good luck. You know, like if you had landfall, cool, play this card. I get it. But other than that, oh boy, I'm going to get 2 lands on the field, and then just like ignore the fact that they're going to get 2 lands on the field. So you're putting them just as ahead in the game as you are. This card basically does nothing. It's just stupid. It's just absolutely stupid. But it's really, really, really useful and constructed if your entire deck is built around him, but he's legal in Commander. I'm not sure about legality. I think this is a reprint, might be modern too. But, why build your entire deck around 1 card? It's just, I don't like this card. It's not a good card. Yeah, I just checked. It's a reprint, and it's like $2. I feel like it might be because it's not a good card. Next up, $25 reprint from Lorwyn, Vigor. It's an elemental incarnation creature, so if you want to get that incarnation tribal deck going, this is the one to go to. It's probably the only one, too. It's a 6/6 for 6 with triple greens. That's fantastic for devotion. Oh, wait, this isn't legal in modern. Darn. Actually, wait, it's from Lorwyn. I think it is legal in modern. Regardless, trample. If a damage would be dealt to another creature you control, prevent that damage. Hello. Put a 1/1 counter on that creature for each 1 damage prevented that way. What the hell? And when Vigor is put into a graveyard from anywhere, shuffle it into its owner's library. Probably because you could just resurrect it with pretty much any black spell. Yeah, Whip of Erebos and Scarab God kind of ruined it for everybody, and honestly, cards before that are even worse. So this card is impossible to play against. I absolutely hate it. I hate everything about it, and they shouldn't have put it in this set. In fact, they should have not reprinted it, and then also banned it from every format. And you know what, Vigor? On your way out the door, go grab all of the Umbra cards and Rancor. They're not welcome here either. Next up, whatever the hell this says. Allegedly it's Virtaz's Virtue, but it might not be. It's a 3-cost sorcery, maybe. And for each player, choose friend or foe, maybe. And each friend returns a creature card from the graveyard to their hand, maybe. And each foe sacrifices a creature, maybe. That might be what it says, but we'll never know because Wizards is not going to release it in English. Thanks, Wizards. I'm not even exaggerating here. Cards have been mistranslated in the past. So that's it for the second lot. I can't wait to take forever editing this. I am very happy that a lot of these cards are not automatically legal in Modern, but honestly, some of the ones that were reprinted in this set are legal in Modern. But some of them are only in Eternal formats. It depends. A lot of them are just outright broken. They're just unfair, and they decided to stuff them into this set for some reason. I don't really know if it makes it worse or better for actual like gameplay because it's limited to 1 single set. I mean, it's basically like block constructed. So I mean, how degenerate could you really get? I mean, cards like Vigor though, they just come out and just single-handedly ruin the game. It's not like they're part of a combo or anything. But without, properly predicting how the gameplay will be, what I can tell you is that a lot of these cards were just shoehorned in for value. We've got a ton of $20+ cards That's lovely. The only problem with that is I wish they would have just put in virtually all $8 cards, which obviously would have ruined the whole set. They would have had to do 50 reprints, and it wouldn't have worked. There would have been no synergy and whatever. But they wanted to sell packs, so if a box EV is $50 on release day, nobody's touching it. I mean, the people that are going to draft with it are going to draft with it. The people who do sealed are going to do sealed, and that's it. It's going to sell like crap. But people need some of these reprints. Oh, and if you've been waiting for some of these reprints for like really long, you had to wait an extra 2 years because they finished this damn set in 2016. So you're welcome, sincerely, Wizards of the Coast. Kind of makes you wonder the real reason why Damnation wasn't printed in from the vault. Like, what set was it a part of where they sat on it so long they just canceled it? Because that's my theory. So anyway, when they do stuff like this, it's like, okay, not only do you have to memorize a card list of, all cards 10 and up, because that'll be, on your radar and worthwhile, because drafting isn't free. Far from it. It's way more expensive than F&M. But then you get the wonderful decision of, well, here's the best card for my deck, and here's a completely off-color card that's $30. I gotta draft the $30 card and pass the hyper-powerful perfect for my deck card. Well, that's great. At least you get to draft together, and then it's like, okay, now who's taking the hit? If neither one of you need the card, but you don't want to pass $30 to the next person over, I don't know. I mean, a lot of local gaming stores, from what I heard, have a policy of like, you can replace the pack if it's basically some kind of god pack, because basically you bought it. So the first person to open a pack, if they're like, holy crap, Karn and Teferi in the same pack, I'm not passing this. I am just going to get up and leave and flip off the owner and not come back, because I'm not going to let, $100, because one of them would be foil, just get passed to the next person over. I'm not doing that. So they just get up and ruin the draft for everybody. So a lot of stores are like, okay, you could just get up, pay us, $3.99 or whatever, and open a different pack and just pocket that one. If your LGS doesn't do that, recommend that they do that. Or since draft sucks, you could just play sealed, which, I mean, honestly, add more than 6 packs. 6 is just stupid. So that's my advice, and I guess we'll see what happens to this. Now I'm on the fence about whether or not I'll order it, and I don't like being on the fence about whether or not I'll order something. I didn't order Commander 2017 the first time around, and that decision went well. I did, however, order Iconic Masters, and that decision went really well too. So in summary, fuck you Wizards, and I can't wait for this dumpster fire to come out. I'll see you guys next video.